on realizing I am black. 1, what the fuck? 2, born American, raised Dominican, found black, found God, found home. 3, you kidding me, right? I mean, don't you eat rice and beans every night? I mean, when was the last time you had some mac and cheese, some collard greens, and some neck bones? You know, speaking Spanish means you're Spanish. This means you're greedy. Would you like some neck bones? Along with the vertebrae of America's hung foundation fathers, ain't that what you wanted? To call African ancestors yours too? Afro-Latino, Taino Indian? Are those drinks you Spanish people get during happy hour? Ha, ain't no happy hour when the hands of your clock are shackled, dragged, baton beaten, bullet hole bleed out countless moments, drowning your existence in alcohol. Try to forget that you were even born to, and you are murdered every 28 hours. It's just another bump from a stranger on the sidewalk. 4, in Boston, I held the elevator door for every racist that I looked better than. I reached into my blazer, they grabbed their bags tighter, my hair grows as an afro. My grandfather would tell me, stop looking like a nigger. I tell him, I'm celebrating the way God made me. My grandfather smiled in the faces of my black friends like he had a lynch mob in his back pocket. His teeth, the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment shredded into 36 different pieces of bigotry. 5, my grandfather died as the moon. I am not him. I am black and full of stars. I am not the absence of light. I am who allows light to exist. I am mother. I am Africa. Do not confuse me for hip hop and rap. Those are my fraternal twin grandchildren who always asking for money. You remember Biggie, Pac, Pun, you see stars, died, and have come home to me. I am not ugly. I am who allows you to be beautiful now. Isn't that the blackest thing you've ever heard? God say, 5 doctors sit prepared to evaluate my brother John to see if he can be released from the psych ward. The first doctor asked, how are you? John says, well, says, breakfast, cocked neck, face implying he tasted crushed pills in his scrambled eggs. He chuckled at the powder residue on his fork. Y'all ain't never heard? A man who laughs at poison knows he won't be dying soon. The second doctor asked, are you nervous? John says no, while tapping his foot. He wants to stomp on the snakes creeping toward him, but doesn't want to alert the doctors. They already know. He hears hissing choirs, slimy, wingless angels biting their toxins into his faith. My brother prayed himself anti-venom, could thrust fangs further into him. The doctors would call this a suicide attempt when he'd be showing how full of life he is. The third, what do you think of our facility? John doesn't speak at first. Wonders if there's a cross waiting to be carried or if one of the doctors needs to be baptized. Says he helps the patients more than the staff. Says the staff are like family members who wish they weren't there. Says they're always in the way. John's heart is full of interrupted prayers. Half a heaven coursing through my brother's body, and people want to call him crazy. The fourth, have you had any delusions? John shrugs. Says nothing of the seraphim surrounding the chandelier. Says nothing about I can feel his brain cracking. He is one of God's knuckles, one of God's works in progress. He knows assembling his fingers into vices would only bring about the hunt. He settles down before making a spectacle of the Messiah in him. He can't stop his hands and feet from bleeding, but will bear the sin of the last doctor asking, what do you mean? John shakes his head. He doesn't want the doctors to know he could dispel demons with a cocked neck, how he can nail himself to a cross, call it practice. They say he is unhinged, a cathedral of teeth, always one step away from driving his fist down someone's throat. They want to see an animal make a home of the cage they were thrown in, when these doctors have never held thorns until their palms become sponges soaked in their Savior's blood. All they know of my brother is Beth Israel Medical Center, 11th floor, psych ward, Abilify, Ativan, Chlorazil, John, Ramirez.